I'm sorry, I'm a bit arrogant. We have a top manager. Again, please don't call me arrogant because what I'm saying is true. I'm European champion, so I'm not one of the bottle. I think I'm a special one.
Jose Mourinho was the author of some of the greatest moments that we have experienced as Chelsea fans. He is the definition of winning mentality. He broke records and put together some of the best teams that we've ever seen and some of the best teams to ever play the game. So although it will be bittersweet seeing him back at Stamford Bridge tomorrow night as Chelsea take on Benfica in the Champions League, we've got to put all of that behind us and just focus on winning the game. This will no doubt be a massive test of Enzo Maresca's character as the past meets the present and Enzo Maresca bids to secure his future with Chelsea fans. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. Now, I'm not going to lie, man. It's been a little bit emotional today. I've been watching Jose Mourinho videos all morning, and it's probably not good for me. But, yeah, just what fantastic memories, man. What fantastic memories. But, ultimately, that is what they are. They are memories. Things are different now. Football is different now. We've got new owners. We've got a new team. We've got a new manager. And a win tomorrow night would undoubtedly get Maresca a lot of credit in the bank. But, guys, before we get into today's match preview, if you are enjoying the content and would like to see more, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Right, so we'll talk about the press conference, a little bit about Benfica, and then we'll have a look at my predicted lineup for the game tomorrow night. So the press conference was telling today, man. It's a small thing, but Maresca has won me back over a little bit by rectifying something that I think has been a problem. He held his hands up, man. He held his hands up and said, I've made mistakes. I'm learning on the job. Red cards is not something that he's used to dealing with, whatever. Look, you know, one way or the other, it's not as much excuses as it was for the first time in these last few games. I've really seen Enzo Maresca take some sort of ownership for the difficult period that we're going through, and I really appreciate that. Honestly, it feels like he just could have come out at the end of those games and been like, do you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have taken all my attackers off, or, I'm still navigating how to deal with red cards or whatever. Just something, man, just something. This is one of the things about Jose Mourinho that was so good is if a game went badly, he would do everything that he could to take all of the pressure off of the players, and he'd say something ridiculous or make a spectacle of himself, but ultimately he would direct attention away from the players and onto himself rather than kind of throwing them under the bus. So that in itself is a lesson that Enzo Maresca can learn from Jose Mourinho, man. Protect your players, definitely, and own your mistakes, man, because as fans, I don't know, it's always difficult at the end of the day when you make the decisions that cause a loss. In the moment, maybe we're always going to be a bit annoyed, but at the same time, for me personally, if I can see a manager own his mistakes and try and take some of that pressure off of his players, then I'm going to back you even more. So, like I say, man, I think that was a good thing, and I hope it's something that he takes going forward. There were some slightly worrying things in the press conference as well. Obviously, he was asked a lot about Jose Mourinho and whatever, but that's not really important. What is important is the squad news, right? So, for the most part, there are no new definite injuries, but he did say quite candidly that Moises Caicedo, João Pedro and Andre Santos are all carrying something, they're all feeling something. So the three of them are a question for tomorrow night's game. So here's just hoping that everyone's fine, because we can't be dealing with losing another three players, do you know what I mean? Andre Santos may be a bit less of a worry, but if we lose João Pedro and Moises Caicedo to injury, that's kind of curtains, isn't it? But let's have a little look at Benfica. So, our most recent tussle with Benfica came in the Club World Cup, where we put them to the sword, albeit in one of the most crazy games I've ever seen. That was when we had the 2-hour break because of the weather conditions in America. It was crazy, but we came out on top in that game. Bruno Lage was posthumously sacked after losing to Karabag in the Champions League and replaced by Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho has played 3 games with Benfica, getting 2 wins and 1 draw. So they're on a reasonable run of form against our patchy run of form, where our last win came against Liga 1 opposition in Lincoln. But at the end of the day, 2 of those games did involve a sending off. So it's difficult, isn't it? Because our form isn't necessarily based on the fact of how we play with 10 men, because that is normally such an unusual thing. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't happen very often. But for it to happen twice over our last 2 Premier League games is a bit crazy. And because of that, we're not really able to look at the team. Like, for instance, if you take the first half against Brighton in isolation, 1-0 up at half-time, dominating, wicked, looked really good. The red card, really, really spoiled things and 100% highlighted Maresca's current area for improvement, shall we call it, where he needs to learn how to manage these games a bit better. But at the end of the day, when we've had 11 players on the pitch, we've looked all right. And at the end of the day, I would argue we've got the stronger 11 as well. So, you know, they've got the more experienced manager and the more experienced players. But as far as technique goes and player profile, we definitely have the players to win this game. So let's have a little look at my predicted starting 11 for the Benfica game tomorrow night in the Champions League. And we'll start with the goalkeeper, because we always start with the goalkeeper. It's Rob Sanchez, and it's just, like I mentioned in one of my other videos, it's like Stockholm syndrome at this point, isn't it? I'm not happy about seeing Rob Sanchez because he's absolutely not good enough, but at the same time, he is the best goalkeeper that we've got, and if I saw anyone else, if I saw a Gaga Slanina or a Philip Jorgensen started this game, I'd be more worried. Right back, I'm actually going to go with Malagusto. So the reason for that, Reece James has played 2 lots of 90 minutes and we've got the Liverpool game coming up. Maybe he features in this game at some point later in the game, depending on what happens. But at the end of the day, it seems like a fairly safe bet that Malagusto will get the start for this game. At left back, it's Marc Cucurella, and it's got to be Marc Cucurella. Yoro Hato, lots of potential. Looks like he can get better down the line, hopefully, if he keeps improving. Obviously, has played centre-back for us in the last game, which was a bit unusual. I don't expect to see that again. But yeah, Marc Cucurella is just one of the first names on the team sheet and one of our really, really good players who doesn't seem to be carrying any injury issues. So it's a simple one, isn't it? Cucurella gets the start. Centre-backs. So Trevor Chalobah, for me, gets the start as one of them. He got sent off in the game against Brighton, but I attribute that ultimately more to the tragically horrendous back pass from Andre Santos, which forced him into that position that he got sent off. Yes, his decision-making could have been better. Maybe it would have been better to have gone, to have gone even with Brighton and have 11 players on the pitch for the rest of the game. Either way, discipline and these kind of issues isn't a regular thing we see with Trevor Chalobah. And his domestic ban doesn't carry into the Champions League. So Chalobah won't be available for Liverpool, but he will be available for tomorrow, so I expect him to start. The other centre-back spot, I'm actually going to go with Benoit Badiashile. Came on at the end of the Brighton game. Didn't obviously look at, the game kind of fell apart, didn't it? And Benoit Badiashile actually lost his head a little bit in the midst of the penalty shout, tried to drag Van Heck off of the floor in WWE fashion, which was a bit unusual. But at the end of the day, what we need tomorrow night is experience. We haven't got huge amounts of experience in the centre-back spots at the moment, and we haven't got loads of centre-backs that aren't injured. And also, being left-footed, I imagine he will start and play that Pasi Maguba role that Enzo Maresca likes so much. Okay, so the midfield double pivot. I am tentatively going to put Moises Caicedo there. And I am a bit worried about Caicedo, man, if I'm completely honest. But at the same time, it's just kind of where we are with a few positions in this team at the moment. It's like you would love to give them a rest. But can you even give them a rest? Do you know what I mean? If Moises Caicedo is fit to play, it's almost guaranteed that he'll play. In the lead up to the Fulham game, he didn't train for the entire week and still played the game. So that kind of tells you how important he is to the team at the moment and the way that we're playing. So I think Caicedo is, if available, will start. And I'm actually going to put Romeo Lavia next to him. Romeo Lavia, like Benoit Badiashile, came on at the end of the Brighton game. And I think Lavia makes sense for a few reasons. One, I would rather see him on the pitch than Santos, and obviously Santos may be still in Maresca's bad books at the moment and also might be carrying an injury. Two, we generally last season looked a lot better when Romeo Lavia was in the team, apart from a few exceptions. Obviously the injury stuff was a bit of an issue. There were a couple of games where he didn't look at his best, but the partnership of Moises Caicedo and Lavia made our midfield tick a lot more. And the third reason is because Lavia is a more defensive-minded midfielder. If Caicedo isn't feeling at his absolute best, then Lavia can potentially take some of that pressure off of him as well, and hopefully we can get the best out of Moises Caicedo without him needing to sprint around saving everyone all the time because there's someone next to him sharing that workload. So for the attacking three, in the middle, I'm going to go with Enzo Fernandez, and I think that we will just see that in general, to be honest. As long as we've got a Santos or a Lavia available to play alongside Moises Caicedo, I do think that until Cole Palmer comes back, I think we'll be seeing Enzo Fernandez in the middle of the park. Maresca came out in the last press conference, not the one that's just gone today, and said 90% of the time Fernandez plays as an attacking midfielder, so I expect that to carry on in tomorrow night's game. On the left wing, I'm going to go Pedro Neto, and again, it's just the experience thing, man. Of the 4 wingers we've got at the moment, 3 of them are all very young, 2 of them are struggling for game time, so it just makes sense, doesn't it, to have you put your best guys on. This is a must-win game, obviously. All the games are must-win games at this point, front, aren't they? But at the end of the day, Pedro Neto is not the flashy, creative, attacking option necessarily that is going to get the goals, but he's industrious. He knows the manager's tactical instruction really well and is very, very reliable. On the right-hand side, I'm going to again go with Estevan William. I think the Brighton game was good for Estevan, man. He needs to bed into the physicality of the Premier League and the different levels that we're talking about now. At the end of the day, Champions League is high level as well, but I would hope he's got some good experience from that Brighton game. And without Cole Palmer, we need some of that potential flashy magic, don't we? And without Cole Palmer on the pitch, we haven't really got anyone else that can do that apart from Esteban. Up top, mate, I'm regretting saying this because I just feel bad for the guy at this point, but it's João Pedro, man. I feel like João Pedro really, I'll be interested to see if he goes to Brazil for the international break based on how much he's played recently. He would obviously want to. Players always want to play for their countries, don't they? But this is the issue we've got at the moment, man, is because Liam Delap's out and Mark Guehi hasn't been given any minutes, the next option is Tyreek George. Do I think Tyreek George should start up front for Chelsea in a Champions League game against a Jose Mourinho-led Benfica? No. So for that reason, I'm going to put João Pedro. Now, at the end of the day, if João Pedro does turn out not to be feeling good, then it is probably going to be Tyreek George, isn't it? I'd be surprised if Mark Guehi got thrown into this game, being how high profile it is. But hopefully João Pedro is okay. Lots of hopefullys. I'm really hoping that Moises Caicedo is okay, and I'm really hoping that João Pedro is okay as well. Going to be interesting, man. So that's it. That's my predicted starting 11 for the Benfica game tomorrow night. So it's going to be a tough one, man. Absolutely, because Benfica are a good team. Champions League is always a massive event, and Jose Mourinho is always a hard manager to beat. I expect us to come up against a big Portuguese bus low block style thing, which is going to be difficult, but could be character building for the team. And if we get a result, man, this will be such a shot in the arm from all the stuff we've gone through recently. The board have come out recently and had, reiterated they are backing Maresca. And I completely get that, man, and I understand it. I am not Maresca out. I don't think a period of a few, 3-4 games of not getting the ideal results, do you know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing happens, man. Lots of injuries, yes, lots of caveats, nuance, or whatever. Can Maresca do better? Absolutely. Yes, he can. Does he need to make better decisions in game when things aren't going his way? Yes, he does. But is that enough to sack him when there aren't really, there's not really loads of other options available at the moment, and it's a project, man. Do you know what I mean? We're not trying to win the Premier League this season. I'm sorry if that's hard to hear, but it's just the truth, isn't it? If we were trying to win the Premier League this year, we'd have gone in for a centre-back and we'd have gone in for another striker when Liam Delap and Levi Colwill got injured. And the fact that we didn't do that and we were told to look for internal options, and the fact that Maresca is playing Tyreek George up front, 100% that is just where we are. We're not trying to win the Premier League this season. But either way, I expect a great game tomorrow night. Guys, I will be joining Behind the Dugouts on his watch-along live streams. So tomorrow night, hop over to Behind the Dugouts' YouTube channel and you will see me and him. We're going to watch the game together. It's going to be fun. We'll have some banter. It's always a good time, and I hope some of you guys can get involved in the comments, and all the live streams I've been doing recently, whether it be on my own or in the Blue Lounge, you guys have been phenomenal, so I would love to see you all there. And guys, if you've made it to this point in the video and haven't clicked the subscribe button, give it a clickaroo, because I am so close to 1,000 subs. I can literally smell it, I can hear it, I can taste it. It is dominating all of my senses, and I absolutely want to cross that line. Thank you so much to all of you who have subscribed and are supporting the content already. And like I say, guys, if you're enjoying it, click. Just a little click, man, makes the world of difference to me. So nice one, guys. I hope you're all having an absolutely wicked day. I will catch up with you all very, very soon, and maybe see you tomorrow night on Behind the Dugouts live stream. Take it easy. Peace.